Welcome back, everybody. We just pulled our scales off of the machine. Don't look too bad. Remember that we put super glue on them to seal them so that when we put the epoxy in the graphics, it doesn't migrate to the grain of the wood. So right now what we're going to do is we're going to mix up some epoxy so that we can put it in the grooves. So the first thing we need to do is get our epoxy out. Epoxy, mixing stick, color, black, the resin, and the hardener. 50-50, equal amounts of hardener and resin. Don't need a lot, but you need to get them in the right ratios. And then a couple drops of color. And mix thoroughly. Okay, that's mixed up pretty good now. Now all we do is put it in the graphics. Try not to get any bubbles in it, for the very fact they'll give you craters in your graphics when you're done. Okay, that one's done. Now let's go on to this one here. And I just kind of dab it in so I can fill all of the graphics in. Make sure you fill them all in. Okay, now we'll wait for that to dry, and then we'll sand off the excess and sand to finish and put some finish on it. So after this dries, we'll come back. So see you back in a minute. Okay, welcome back. We have let the epoxy dry, and I started sanding some of it off. On the one side I took it all off, on the other side I took it about half off. I didn't think you needed to watch me sand that for all that time, so I did that. But basically what we do is we take and just sand it till all the letters are exposed. I'm using 120 grit sandpaper right now, and well, it doesn't look too bad. Doesn't look too bad. We got a little bit yet here to do, but not much. So we'll work on that a little bit more. And we'll start sanding on the rest of it. Basically what we're trying to do is just get this ready to put finish on. So you just keep on sanding it till you get it to the desired shape and smoothness that you want. So we're just sanding that smooth and getting it to the place where we'll put our first coat of lacquer on it. Okay, why don't we blow that off and see what we got. Actually, that don't look too bad. So the next grit that I'll put on it is 180. We'll do it all with 180. We'll do both sides with 180. And what we'll do now is we'll put some lacquer on it. We blow it off. Wipe it down. Get most of the dust off of it. Because whatever dust we can get off of it, it won't stick to the lacquer. Then we'll give it our airbrush with lacquer in it. And we'll give it a few coats of lacquer. And we'll just let that dry. We'll do the other side too. Well, we'll let that dry now. We'll come back when it's dry. Okay, we're back now. This lacquer's dried a little bit, so now what we do is we take some 220 and we'll hit it with 220 and give it another coat. So basically we just sit here and smooth it out with 220. Wipe it off and we'll spray it, and I'll do a couple more coats and then we'll come back to do the assembly. I'll put some more, probably 3 more coats of lacquer, and then we'll come back and do the assembly. Okay, we're now ready for assembly. As you can see, we're already finished on our scales. Scales turned out pretty good, actually. This one here, the words kind of messed up a little bit, but that's, I think, because of the real soft part of the wood. Okay, now we're ready to put on the scales onto our body, which is right here. So let's get these scales out of the way, put our body up here, and the first one we want to put on is this scale here. And if you remember what I said before, the top 2 are different screws than the bottom 2. So here's the top screws right here. Those are the top screws. So let's go ahead and get our tool. Let's go ahead and start these top screws into their appropriate holes. Got that one in. Okay, let's put this back one in. Okay, we got those started. Now we can put these two here in, but remember they also have these spacers that need to go in there too. So let's go ahead and do that. Basically what I do is I get a pair of needle nose pliers and I go ahead and place that in there. Get it to where it needs to be. Put the screw in. Start the screw. And then just run it down. And we'll do the same to the other side. Okay, that side's all done. Now we turn over to the other side. A couple different things we got to do on this side here is, first of all, remember these two pins that came out before? We got to put those two pins in. So get some pins, drop them into those holes, and you got to make sure that they go all the way through. Sometimes they don't like to. There it goes. They got to be flush with the top of this case. The next thing we got to put in is this button and little spring, and these go on up here. That's where the button and the spring go, right there. So I usually put the button in to this side because it goes in this hole here, and then I put the spring in it like that, and then kind of fit it all together like that. Now we're ready to put our screws in on this side. Remember, again, like I said before, the fat screws go on the top. Okay, now let's do the back one, which goes right there. Remember, we already got our post in, so we don't have to worry about holding the posts anymore, only if they slip as we're tightening. So we can put our other screw in that post. And then we can put the final screw in. Okay, that's all there is to it. Now you have a nice working, well, it should work, knife. Okay? Okay, thank you for watching our presentation on how to dress up your utility knife. This happens to be a sliding one, and you could have a non-sliding one if you want. Again, this is a utility knife that I got from Menards. It was a sliding utility knife. This is the card that it came on. Couple pieces of wood, a little programming, a little sanding, and it comes out to be a pretty nice piece. If you like this video, make sure you like us on Facebook and on YouTube. Subscribe to my channel on YouTube. I also have a website that you can download plans and the program to make this on your own CNC. It's a Vectric program. You'll need Vectric VCarve Pro, and it should able to do whatever you want. You should be able to duplicate this on a Menards knife. So thank you very much for watching, and that's the conclusion of our video today.